Just wanted to show you guys this ball Jose Ramirez signed for me. I got it a couple years ago. I don't know if I've mentioned that on this podcast before, but I wanted to show you guys that item of mine. But what now? Let's get started. Welcome to the We Guard Cleveland podcast with me, your host, Casey Howard. In today's episode, we are going to try to solve a debate I found on social media. A few Guardians fans were talking about how the new rules are affecting the Guardians and are affecting Major League Baseball. And the 4 new rules we're going to go over in today's video are the interleague play, the pitch clock, the bigger bases, that you can only pick off the first 2 times. So we were going to go over those changes in this video. So let's get started. So number 1, interleague play. So I'm gonna go over three things about it. I don't like it. For the first reason is because it makes scouting much tougher. For the teams, because instead of scouting out your division really well, and the teams are like about half the teams probably, well, you do the whole American League plus 1 division National League, so 20 teams you'd usually be scouting, and now you have to scout 30, which it's actually a bigger deal than you'd think, because it takes more work. You need to hire more staff to do it, and I think that hurts every team in baseball, really. But for the next reason is why I'm gonna show how it hurts the Guardians, especially. It hurts them because they are in a weak division, and like if we played the Royals, I think we could beat them like 14 out of 16 times, like we used to. Same thing with like the Tigers or the White Sox. Teams that we would usually, if we played them more consistently, we would beat. And the third thing is the players are more tired because of further travel. So you guys might be like, they're major leaguers, this isn't a big deal. But I think it is, because I actually talked to a fan who asked me that question. And then I tried to find on the internet I looked up games after, like, without a travel day, when you're traveling and you don't have that day off. And because of the interleague play, you're traveling more often and further. You're going to be more tired, and that does affect play. So I think that's another reason also, but again, that's for everyone. But so I'm going to say, eventually in this video, in this podcast, I'm going to decide good or bad, like the rule, and I'm going to say bad on this one because for the Guardians, because of their weaker division, and they should be able to win a lot more games if they played their division more often. Okay, the second new rule is the pitch clock. So the pitch clock, the positive about the pitch clock is it speeds up the game, and watching it on TV, it makes it much better to enjoy. However, if you go to a game, it is not good enough to enjoy, because if you're paying money to go to the game, you want to see a longer game. So, like, I went to a game this year, so I did the same exact thing as I did the last time I went to a game, and I figured out how long it took me and how much I missed. So, last year, I got up, I used the bathroom, I got some food and a drink. I went to the bullpen and I walked to the bullpen to watch a pitcher warm up. So you'd think I'd miss about maybe half an inning. I missed 2 full innings because of how fast it was. I was gone for 20 minutes this year. Usually, I would only miss a half inning if I did all that. So I would say it's positive for TV watchers, negative for the people who are actually going to the games. So you may say people listening to it on the radio, it doesn't matter because that's what on the debate on the internet they started talking about. But I don't know. Not many people watch the radio unless they're in the car or listen to it. So I really don't. So I'll probably listen to a game on the radio, and then maybe I'll do another update video on that. So those are just how it affects in general, but it speeds you up. It makes the pitchers not be able to take their time. It rushes them. So you might be like, they're major leaguers. It's not going to be a big deal. Well, it has hurt two of our pitchers a lot, and I have figured out why it does. So the pitchers are Emmanuel Clase and James Karinchak. So let's start out with Emmanuel Clase. Clase throws the ball really hard, but he pretty much only uses one or two pitches. And he likes to focus on the spot exactly. So for his control, he needs a little more time. And the pitch clock just puts pressure on you. And I think Clase is a really good pitcher. It's just the pitch clock pressures him, which causes him not to pitch as good. James Karinchak is the second pitcher. And we're going to talk more about him because he has a very set routine. So if you watch him, looking at a clip of him, you guys can't see it, but so what he does before he pitches is he tosses the ball up in the air twice, tosses ball up twice. This is a clip from his best year. Okay, then he gets the uses the rosin bag. Third, he gets the signal from the catcher. Then he wipes his hair with his hand, and then he pitches. That takes him about 50 seconds to a minute. So if he's going like a minute for every pitch or so, you got 15 seconds now with that pitch clock. So it really hurts Karinchak, I feel like. It's partially his fault because you really should not take that long of a motion. I mean, I don't take that long, and I'm a kid. So, yeah. And most people, you should probably be taking about 10 to 30 seconds between pitches. And Karinchak is above that, so before what he was doing probably isn't good, because that's a bad habit. But this is really hurting him. So for the pitch clock, if I say it's good or bad in general, I know it's hurt the Guardians, but I'm still going to say good because it helps me when I'm watching the games on TV. And that's how I get them mostly. I only go to a few games a year. So, but for TV watchers, it's been a lot easier for me. I know for the actual players, it's probably a negative. But I know it's a little selfish here, but I gotta say it's good for me and TV watchers, and that's why it's good in general. The bigger bases. So, for the bigger bases, there's pros and cons. I would say some parts of it help the Guardians while others hurt them. It hurts, we'll start with what it hurts. It hurts their catchers, Cam Gallagher and Mike Zunino, who neither of them are the best defensive catchers in the world. So, Guardians have pitchers who are really good at holding runners on. So, it's easy for the catchers to throw runners out. But the pitchers, like Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, Cal Quantrill, can't do their specialty, and which is picking runners off. And not just picking them off, keeping them close to the bag. They were all really good at that. So that hurts them as pitchers, as well as it hurts the catchers because the runners can take bigger leads and they can't throw the runners out. So you might be like, well, it's not like that for every team. Well, our pitchers were really good at that, for one. And second is our defensive catchers aren't that great at throwing runners out at second. Mike Zunino is coming off a shoulder surgery. And he's obvious by his throws, his shoulder is not completely healed. He has not been able to throw the ball to second very hard or accurately. And Cam Gallagher, he's a good catcher with the pitchers. He seems to be like, him and the pitchers seem to have very good relationships, and he seems to be the type of catcher a pitcher would want. But overall, by his actual skill, he is not that great. But it also helps our base runners, such as Steven Kwan, Miles Straw, Andres Jimenez, Ahmed Rosario. It will help them steal more bases. In a few of the Guardians' wins, that has helped them. They have not had many wins, so I would say if this is good or bad. I would say it is still bad. I'm going to say bad for the Guardians just because we don't have really good catchers. And really the only teams that it's not bad for are like teams that have an awesome catcher, like Wilson Contreras for the Cardinals, or like Sean Murphy for the Braves. Those are two really good catchers that this rule won't really affect. But overall, I would say that it's not a good rule, so I'm going to say this was a bad rule. Now the next rule is pick off 2 times. So this goes hand in hand with the bigger bases. It hurts Zach Plesac, Cal Quantrill, and Shane Bieber. So we know Shane Bieber's still doing good. Cal Quantrill, he's still a really good pitcher. So those two, it's not really hurting. But we're gonna go on how it has hurt Zach Plesac. So in Zach Plesac's very best year, he led the MLB in pickoffs, and he was holding runners on closely. He was getting a lot of double plays, and that's how he plays. When he plays good, he's holding runners on close. He's getting a lot of ground ball outs, and that's how Zach Plesac will succeed. With these new rules, he cannot do that, which really hurts him. I mean, for any team, I feel like if he has a good coach, he can maybe figure this out. And I'm not saying Terry Francona is not a good coach, because I think he's the best coach in the league. It's just I don't think him and Zach are good for each other in general. Like I said, trading, just because of Zach's problems in the past, he has a little bit of a temper, and I feel like Tito wouldn't be really great with that. Tito's an awesome manager, don't get me wrong, but I feel like him and Zach don't really work well together. That's the best way to put it, in my opinion. Maybe he'd do better for maybe a coach that's not as awesome as Tito. But I think we should trade Zach Plesac. Because he's in AAA right now. But this pickoff rule is really hurting him, and it's hurting his career, I feel like. Same thing with the pitch clock for James Karinchak. In the offseason, they're really going to have to adjust to these. So that was episode 4 for this video. So I said the interleague play they should not do in the future. They should keep the pitch clock. They should make the bigger bases not so big. And the pickoff for 2 times, well, I think we should make it 3 or 4 times, I think, instead of 2. But I think there should be a limit. But, so that was what this episode was about. I saw a social media argument a little bit, and I thought this would be a good episode to solve it. Maybe the people on there would look at my channel. So please like and subscribe and turn on those notifications for more content. But for now, Casey is out.